been notified that this pursuit is now coming through their area. Should the pursuit get off the freeway, both Simi Valley Police and the Sheriff's Department will likely be taking over the pursuit as well. Still climbing here to get above this thing. One of the better views that we've had of it, and traffic as we've seen it all the way from the 405 freeway where we first saw him get on the 118 freeway. The freeway is relatively clear right now, so they're continuing on just as quickly as this suspect wants to take the CHP. Again, we've heard the top speed of called out as 105 miles an hour. That from a pursuing CHP unit. It has slowed down somewhat right now, going moderately faster than the flow of traffic right now. CHP has 4 patrol cars now directly behind the vehicle. Should he pull over or get off to the side, they are going to be ready for that. 2 aircraft overhead, and this is one of the pursuits that they're going to take most seriously. Sometimes we have a person that may have mental issues. They know who the person is. They'll just go ahead and let the person go and not pursue him. That is the opposite case that we have right here. We have a stolen vehicle with the possible perpetrator at the wheel and a possible victim now in the vehicle. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Halfway through the Simi Valley right now, coming up again on the 118. The next is going to be the 23 freeway as it connects down to the 101 freeway. We're going to see how he, what he determines that he's going to do on this one, whether he's going to continue off the freeway onto Los Angeles Street if he continues going this exact direction, or the southbound 23 freeway to pick up the 101 freeway. Again, he has been off the freeway one time. He got off at Havenhurst, circled back around and got back on the 118 freeway, that in the Granada Hills area, and we didn't know if he was looking for a place to bail out at that point, but elected to continue on. So it's unclear, of course, where this person may be going. And there is one thing that is clear. He's trying his best to get away from the officers. That is not going to happen with the amount of resources that CHP has at their disposal and are currently using.
A number of things that make this pursuit especially dangerous. We're talking about speeds over 100 miles an hour. We believe that this is a car with a possible victim inside, a possible carjacking victim, and also the driver of that car might have weapons, and yet the CHP is staying right behind them. That's a little bit unusual, and perhaps, as you pointed out, it's because there is a potential victim inside that car.
That's what we're trying to surmise right now, and that's what we believe is the case. He's got about 4 miles before he gets to the 23 freeway. Looking up as far as we're able to see here in Sky 9, it appears that he has got relative light traffic ahead of him, so he's going to continue on if he so chooses to do so. And he is probably going to cover those 4 miles in about 2.5 minutes, perhaps 3 minutes at the speed that he's going. So it won't be much longer now before he makes his first decision about whether to stay on the freeway and continue southbound or continues on Surface Street. So we're just going to have to see about that. CHP not letting up. They're staying only a handful of car lengths behind him, and they are keeping their units very, very close. Should they need to make that felony stop, they will have all the resources there right on hand should that happen. Looks like he's getting over to the right lane. This is something, a slight change that we've seen before. He may elect to get off the freeway there. He missed that, and he continued on. Perhaps a little bit of a fake, seeing if the CHP would probably buy that. That just didn't work whatsoever. He got over to the right side. We're going to try and get that off-ramp here in just a moment, but he elected to stay on the 118 freeway going westbound. And again, about 1.5 miles now from the 23 interchange, and we're going to see what he does there. Look over to the right shoulder now. This is something, again, different than we've seen before. At this point here, obviously you can see that the 118 freeway turns into a 4-lane affair here, 2 lanes each direction. He was getting around some of that traffic by going off onto the right shoulder, which was very wide at that point, and he just wants to keep up his speed here, apparently. Again, while we still have light traffic, you can see that it's down to 2 lanes in each direction. And that's probably going to force this person, if he wants to continue the speed that he's going, to weave through traffic just as we saw moments ago. Still relatively light traffic up ahead. He can probably continue to do what he's been doing. He So back over to the right side, over to the right shoulder. It looks like he's going to pass on the right side again, weaving his way through some of the slower traffic. CHP using the center divider there to get around as well. So both the pursued person and the CHP using all lanes and shoulders of the traffic to maintain their speed as they come along. Less than a mile now from the 23 freeway to the south. Let's see what if he continues here or perhaps tries to get off. We have had no word yet now on what the CHP have said about the possible number of people in the vehicle from their eyes on him on the ground. So that is still an unknown right now, whether they're seeing him and perhaps another person. Looks like he's going to be getting off the freeway right here. Let's get this off ramp here just as quick as we can, Chris. And he's got some cross traffic up ahead. Okay, turning southbound. What was that, Chris? Did you catch it? I couldn't understand it either. We're listening to the CHP scanner as well, trying to pick up these streets as they pick them up. Looks like he's going to be making the Cloverleaf back onto the freeway. Back the freeway, Campus Park Drive. That's where he got off. Got right back on the freeway, now back eastbound. So apparently got a little bit out of his comfort zone, decided he's going to be going back towards the area that he's already been on before. So back towards the San Fernando Valley right now from the west end of the Simi Valley, back westbound 118th, make that eastbound 118th freeway from Campus Park Drive. That's still going the number one lane, picking up his speed just as he had before, going about as quickly as he possibly could.
Derek, it looks like that vehicle has tinted windows, so you were mentioning that there is a possible victim, carjacking victim inside, but it's sort of hard to tell how many people are inside that car.
That's right. We weren't able to tell as we got a good look at him come around the other side here. Unfortunately, we are unable to go any. Yeah, because of the tinted windows, we're unable to dip down a little bit to see him because we've got a couple of CHP helicopter or aircraft below us. It's just impossible to tell how many people were in that vehicle. So they're coming up, approaching Ladera, make that, and still eastbound 118 freeway.
It seems as if he's getting a bit more aggressive as well, Derek. We saw him sort of popping in and out of lanes, driving on the shoulder, and came pretty close to hitting a blue car a few minutes ago when he was headed westbound on the 118.
That's right. He wants to make. It seems he wants to maintain his speed here, and as he continues to weave through the traffic here, to perhaps try and elude the CHP, but that's just not going to happen. And as he does so, with the amount of traffic that we've got kind of a bottleneck right here. And so he's going to have to go off onto the right shoulder here to get around some of this traffic. And that's what he does. And he does make some very narrow passes as he does so. Back onto the number 2 lane and then over to the number 1 lane, as you can see right there. CHP doing the same thing. Some of these motorists that are going along on the freeway, unaware of what's going on, seeing what's coming up behind them, but are trying their best to get out of the way. But, of course, it's all coming up on them very, very rapidly indeed. So still eastbound 118 freeway coming through Simi Valley, back towards the San Fernando Valley from whence we first saw him. And at this rate, he should be there in just a couple minutes from now.
From your picture right now, Derek, it did indeed look like somebody's moving around inside the vehicle. I can't tell if they're in the driver's seat or the passenger's seat, but it looked like a flash of somebody moving around. And you're right, when you talk about speeds over 100 miles an hour, those other drivers who are on the road, by the time they hear the sirens, see the lights, the pursuit is right up on them in a very dangerous situation for anybody out there on the freeways this afternoon. If you're just joining us, this is live KCAL 9 news coverage. Breaking news, a police pursuit right now in the Simi Valley area on the 118 freeway headed eastbound. This started with a traffic stop at about 11:30 this morning. The driver going southbound on the 14 freeway near Vasquez Canyon. That's the Agua Dulce area of the Santa Clarita Valley. The officer who pulled the driver over ran the plates and determined that this was a stolen car. Then they were notified that the owner of the car had been carjacked. That's what the car's owner told CHP officers, that he was carjacked. We don't know if that carjacking victim is still inside the vehicle with the driver, who then took off, described only as a male Hispanic, 18 to 25 years old, possibly with a weapon. This pursuit started in the Santa Clarita Valley, as we said, winding through the San Fernando Valley on the 405 and then onto the 118 and into Simi Valley. The driver is going more than 100 miles an hour. We've got 4 CHP cars right behind him, 2 aircraft directly overhead, and Derek Bell is overhead in Sky 9 as well. And Derek, coming up on just about 45 minutes since this pursuit started, and no signs that this guy is going to slow down.
Okay, I got 11 across the front, 4 we got you up.
Derek Bell taking care of some business there in Sky 9 as they fly over the Simi Valley. You're looking at that white car left side of your screen. This is a driver who has been driving very fast, very erratically, passing in and out of cars, driving on the shoulder. But the CHP, again, in very close pursuit, and that is because there is a possible carjacking victim inside the vehicle with the driver of this car. Let's try Derek Bell again. Derek, you with us?
Yes, we are. We're back still 118 freeway eastbound as he's making his way through the the Simi Valley towards the San Fernando Valley. He's gone 2/3 of the way back to the east. He'll be coming up back again up over towards the Santa Pass. That's the direction that he's going right now if he continues on. Number 1 lane going to the number 2 lane right now, slowing down, really kind of pacing himself with traffic as he makes his way through CHP, going around and then coming in behind him as well. As you can see, the freeway has gone from 2 lane to now 4 lanes in each direction. He's using all 4 lanes of it as well to try and maintain his speed. Looking up ahead, again, still relatively light traffic as he comes through the eastern portion of the Simi Valley. As you can see, we've got traffic in all lanes of the freeway right now, and he's kind of picking his way through as he goes. Again, back to the number 1 lane, and again, at about 1 mile, he's going to start the climb up to the Santa Pass, and then back into the San Fernando Valley should he continue to go. So we're back with him, behind him a little bit. CHP wanted to get out in front of him, so we switched gears and then let him go ahead. And we are looking through the back window there, still unable to see anyone, get a tally of the number of people inside the vehicle there. Still don't know if if the vehicle still has the victim of the carjacking. Again, this is a stolen vehicle. Began about 11:35. So here we are about 50 minutes into the pursuit. And we are going to be continuing to stay with this thing as he goes up, now just beginning the climb, going up to the Santa Clarita to make that the Santa Pass.
Derek, it's interesting to note the behavior of these people trying to get away from the officers, and certainly difficult to predict what they're going to do. But driving in the Moore Park area, that is an area that is not very highly populated, not a lot of cars on the road, and yet when the driver got to the Moore Park area, he quickly got off the freeway and then just looped around and headed back into an area that has more cars on the road. Right side of your screen, you see him looping in and out of traffic, driving on the shoulder of the road. And Derek, I know from experience, the shoulders of the road tend to have a lot of nails, a lot of debris on them. I'm kind of surprised that this guy did not get a flat tire or any damage to the vehicle driving on the shoulder like that.
That's right. Well, this pursuit is far from over. Something like that is bound to happen as well. Should he be off onto the shoulder, as you say, like that. One thing that we just heard a moment ago, the CHP is now contemplating trying to set up a place where they can throw out a spike strip. They may have had an opportunity back there while he was in the number 1 lane and had that nice wide shoulder, but we didn't see any units there set up for this. He is going across all lanes of traffic, which is going to be problematic for the CHP should they want to employ that spike strip. He has to be either in the far left lane or the far right lane for them to, and as he goes by that spike strip, so those guys can throw that out in front of him. We are looking up ahead to see if they have set up anywhere as of yet. We just don't see it quite yet. So spike strip is one of the things they're trying to contemplate on this thing, trying to see if that is something that they can employ. but the way that they are going every which direction, it's difficult to say if that's going to be a possibility for these guys right now.
In special
Right now,
circumstances,
yeah.
Derek, they'll have to be concerned if there is indeed a carjacking victim inside that vehicle. They have to be concerned about how this will end. They're not just concerned about injuries to the person driving the vehicle, but perhaps an innocent person who was carjacked.
The pursuit does take on a different personality when that is the case, indeed. We've just come across the San Susana Pass now, making the downhill trek into the San Fernando Valley. We are back into Los Angeles County right now. LAPD has been advised that the pursuit is now coming back towards their area. They, again, will be ready to pick them up on the side streets should that occur as well. As it came over the top of the San Susana Pass, we saw a CHP officer that was off to this shoulder, and we were thinking that perhaps he was going to try and make that spike strip, but it just was not going to happen due to the fact that he's weaving across all lanes of traffic. They really have to have him on a single track road or have him off to the side where they know that he's going to be passing nearby one side or the other. So that is apparently not going to happen right here as of yet. Still number 2 lane southbound. Make that eastbound on the 118 freeway. Coming into the Porter Ranch area. Looking ahead, again, got relatively light traffic at this time of day in this area, so he's free to continue on as he's been maneuvering thus far.
Yes, as we look at the 118, it really does look wide open again just after noon on a Wednesday afternoon. Not a whole lot of traffic out there by LA standards, but if he gets back on the 405, Derek, I would imagine he's going to run into more traffic, and we'll know if he's going to do that in just a few minutes.
That's right. Still eastbound 118 freeway picking up speed perhaps a little bit because of the downhill, going about 80, 85 miles an hour. He's going to pick his way through traffic right here. Again, going on the number 2 lane. We're seeing that the CHP is using the HOV lane, 3 units directly behind him, 1 tracking behind that. So it's got at least 4 units right there next to the vehicle, 2 others further back as well. We're going to have to talk to Van Nuys Tower here just for a moment. We'll be back with you in just a second.
All right, Derek Bell live over this pursuit going through the Chatsworth area on the 118 eastbound right now. This pursuit started in the Santa Clarita area near Vasquez Canyon, Agua Dulce. On the southbound 14, it was just after 11:30. CHP officers attempted a traffic stop, pulled over this white car. They ran the plates, and that's when they found out that the vehicle had been stolen, and the driver, a male Hispanic, 18 to 25 years old, took off. We are told, according to CHP, that this vehicle was involved in a carjacking, that the driver carjacked a person, and we don't know if the carjacked victim is still inside this white car with the driver. But again, very dangerous pursuit, high speeds up to 105 miles per hour. According to the carjacking victim, the suspect could have a weapon with him in there, and again, a possible victim inside the car. So we are watching this. Started in Santa Clarita, made its way through the San Fernando Valley, and then into the Simi Valley area of Ventura County, now back into LA County and the Porter Ranch area. And you see the CHP, 3 cars, actually 4 CHP cars, 3 directly behind this driver, going very fast. Last we checked, about 80 to 85 miles per hour on the 118 eastbound. A dangerous situation for anybody who's out on the freeway this afternoon, because the pursuit is just coming up so quickly, it's hard for the other drivers to determine what's going on and get out of the way. Let's go back up to Derek Bell overhead in Sky 9. Derek?
Okay, officially 85 miles an hour. That from the CHP officer that's directly behind him. He is just coming up on Reseda, as you said, in Porter Ranch, continuing on eastbound 118 freeway. This is area that he's covered before, going the opposite direction. His next big interchange, of course, is going to be the 405 freeway. And then beyond that is going to be the 5 freeway interchange. Of course, you can go either north or south on either of those 2 interchanges. And we're going to see what he elects to do. We have seen him get off the freeway not far from here. Havenhurst is where he got off before, and perhaps he had a location there that he was thinking that he might be able to bail out on, but of course he elected to stay on the freeway. Let's see if he tries to get off in this area again. Perhaps indeed that was an area that he's familiar with and wants to go back to. So We're prepared for a possible exit from the freeway as we've seen here before. Likewise, again, as we said, the 405 freeway and the 5 freeway interchanges, those are going to be his next big decisions, whether you're going to stay on the 118 freeway or go north or southbound. 85 miles an hour is what we heard just a moment ago. He passed Reseda. We're coming up on Balboa right now. Doesn't look like he's planning to get off on the Balboa, definitely not on Balboa, passing underneath here in just a moment. And again, only about a mile from the 405 freeway. So we're going to see if he if he elects to go north or southbound off of the 118 freeway. Again, the route that he took here was South 14th freeway to the 5, to the 118 freeway, got off at Havenhurst, got back on the 118 freeway near the 405, and then back almost to the far west end of the Simi Valley, now back eastbound through Porter Ranch and coming up to the 405 right now. So he's going to make a decision. He's going to have to make a decision there in the HOV lane. Looks like he's not. There he is, coming back all the way over to the right side of the freeway. Looks like he's going to be getting off there again.
And Derek, this is the same exit he took before?
This is the area that he got off before. This is Woodley. He's getting off right now. And let's see which direction he plans to go. It looks like he's going to be turning southbound.
And there's a pit maneuver.
There's a pit maneuver right behind that. We're going to try and get around here, unfortunately. They use that pit maneuver right there as you get off the freeway. Unfortunately, we have trees in the way here, making our way up. Looks like they've got him completely spun around. That car is disabled. Now they've got him pinned in, side, front, and almost to the rear as well. Let's see if he complies with the commands of the CHP that are right in front of him. All the officers out, weapons drawn, pointed right at the person, right off of the 118 freeway. They used that pit maneuver. It was an excellent place for it to happen, and it looked like it was a classic textbook style pit maneuver. They got it spun around. The vehicle came to a stop, and now officers are up to the vehicle, looking at it.
Boy, just a dangerous situation. Yes. Very dangerous for those officers as they approach with their weapons drawn. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 officers with weapons drawn on this vehicle. And the door opens.
Okay, it looks like we got the driver's door is opening up right now. Very, very unusual for those officers to approach the vehicle like that. He's back in the vehicle. Okay, it looks like he's on the ground on the other side. Officers now are approaching him. We're going to try and get around that side as well. See if we can get a look at him. So it looks as though the pit maneuver was a success. Spun out on the 118, just off the 118 freeway. They're taking him into custody. The big question now, of course, is there anyone else inside the vehicle?
It doesn't look like it, Derek.
It does not. They're looking in the trunk. They're not trying to reach in to get anybody else out. And okay, we're just going to continue to look at this.
And as they roll the suspect over, we see the suspect in custody.
That's right. They're calling that code 4 right now that they've got the customer. They've got got him in custody.
All right, Derek Bell, we're going to stay with your live pictures as CHP ends this very high-speed pursuit. Let's go live to the telephone. Officer Vince Ramirez from the CHP joining us on the telephone. Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
What can you tell us about this pursuit and the suspect that's now in custody?
Well, we understand that this pursuit is actually out of not necessarily a carjacking that occurred today, but one of our units out of our Antelope Valley area office was checking on the license plate while the vehicle was moving, and they found out that this vehicle was wanted in connection with a carjacking. So there was no victim that was in the vehicle still. However, the suspect realized that the units were attempting to stop him, and he sped up, left. As you can see, he sped up down southbound on the 5, went westbound on the 118, and looks like he went right into Ventura County, turned around, and came right back.
We were talking about what a dangerous pursuit this was when we talked about speeds over 100 miles an hour, possible victim inside, which we didn't know at the time was not true, and possibly that the person driving the vehicle might be armed. And then we saw just this textbook pit maneuver by the CHP just off Woodley Avenue there.
That is correct. Our officers are trained in these type of techniques. It's a training that we first take on at the academy, and obviously